Hello everyone, a very warm welcome to Economicspedia. Today we are here to have a discussion from the Indian economics topic, and this topic, as you can see written on the board, is the financial relationship between the center and state of India. So as we have seen from the past news as well as from our studying in our course of time, we have found that there has always been a conflict, especially this financial conflict has always been there between the center and the state. So the main reason for this topic's discussion in today's session is not only to increase your general knowledge or knowledge about economics, but also this topic, this particular topic or area, that is the conflict between the center and state, is very much important for this year's competitive exams as well, especially Indian Economic Services. If you take a look at the past year's question paper, you will always find at least one question from this sector. So this is the reason of taking up this topic and having a session on this. This session will be divided into 3 parts, and in today's session we will be discussing the main idea. Okay, so let's get started without any further loss of time. Now, starting with this center and state, we know that Indian federal system, as there exists a federal system, so this federal system of India, this has divided and very clearly made a distinction between the functions of the union and the states. So union is representing the center. So a clear distinction of functions has already been made by this federal system. Not only this, it has also pointed out the sources of revenue for these two. Whatever the distribution of power has been there, the residual power, it always belonged to the union. Okay, so important point here is residual power, it belonged to union. Okay, so this is the main reason and main area from where we can expect a little bit of conflict between these two. Okay, now as we are saying that since the residual power is belonging to union, so you might be thinking that okay, so maybe the states are left out and they are not getting a required amount of financial assistance. For this, there are some other assistance given to the states by the center or union. Now this thing is known as grants in aid, and plus there are loans. Okay, these two things are given to the states by the center so that the states can perform their part of activity with a required amount of financial assistance. So with these two things we can say that this shows that there is a huge amount of transfer of resources from the center to the states. Okay, so these are the two things. However, we will be discussing each one of these in details, so please hold on. Now moving on, now the framework of Indian Constitution was completely aware of the fact that the allocation of financial resources did not correspond to the allocated or assigned functions of the union and state. And because of this problem, the Indian Constitution was aware that it might raise a problem with respect to the resource gap in the states might widen up over the years. Okay, so this is a main criteria because the allocation of financial relations were not in correspond to the assigned functions. What happened that they distribute and devolutionize some of the resources from the center to the states, and for this purpose specifically, that is transfer of resources, for this purpose Article 280 provide for the setting up of finance commission by the President of India every 5 years or earlier. So we are talking a lot about this transfer of resources, right, between the center and the state. This transfer of resources has become a very important and essential part of India's financial system. That is transfer of resources from the center to the states. Okay, so this is the basic area and basic introduction of the state financial relationships. Let's move towards this thing, that is grants in aid and loans to the states. And with this, we will be moving to further some of the statistical analysis that will give you a more clearer picture. So let's move to that section. So starting with the grants in aid. Now, as good welfare as well as development has been entrusted to these states, the gap between the revenue and the expenditure has to be met, and the gap between this expenditure and revenue has been met or has been equalized by the transfer of resources from the center or union to the states. Okay, so the main purpose is to fill the gap between the revenue and expenditure. Okay, so this is the main purpose of doing this whole process. Now, how it is to be done? This transferring of resources, how it is to be done? So this was partly done by rearrangement of the tax sharing. Okay, of tax sharing. So this is how the whole process have been done, that is the transfer of resources. Now, as I have mentioned, that this process, that is transfer of resources, become a very important issue in the states and center relationship of the Indian financial system. So this is the basic idea of how it is done and what are its effects. But why it is to be done? Okay, this says how it is to be done. Now the question is, why it will be doing this? The center, why it will be transferring some of the important amount of resources to the center, to the states. So why it will be doing this? For this, you need to understand that the main purpose of doing this grant in aid is to provide correction to the interstate disparities in resources. So the answer to why is very simple, that is interstate disparity of resources. This is the answer of why it will be done. Okay, so that is all about the grants in aid. Now let's move towards another important source of transferring this, rather to say assistance given by the center to the states, that is loans. So let's move to that. As I have said that these two things are being provided by the center to the state. So here loans, if we talk about, then states are authorized to take market loans. Instead of that, they still borrow from the center, okay, in order to meet the other excess expenditures. So they borrow from the center. Now by doing this, they are ultimately allowing center to have a power and a control over the state's borrowing and expenditure. So this is happening from where? If states borrow from the union, then we have this scenario that center is getting the power and control over states borrowing, not just that, as well as its expenditure. Okay, so by this whole process we are seeing that the central will be able to control the state's borrowing and expenditure, isn't it? And very interestingly, we have seen this loan, that is the borrowing by the states from the center, has increased gradually over the years. So as I have just mentioned that there has been an increase in the rate of annual borrowing by the states from the center. Let's take a look at the statistics to get a more clearer picture. Now, if we talk about some of the statistical figure or numerical figures so that we can analyze our study better, then it shows that on average states have borrowed from center, or that there has been a transfer of resources during the first 5-year plan. It was rupees 280 crore on an average. Okay, this was given to the states per year. If we take a look at the fourth 5-year plan, then this transfer of resources from the center to state on average increased to rupees 3020 crore per year. And eventually, if we take a look at the 7th 5-year plan, then this figure becomes quite a bigger figure, which is 21,000 crore per year during the 7th 5-year plan. Okay, so this is how we can see that the assistance to these states by the center has increased over the years. Now, during the first 5-year plan, this amount is approximately 36% of the total expenditure that was done by the states. And eventually, during the present scenario, this percentage has increased to 46%. That is 46% of the total expenditure done by the states have been covered by the center. Okay, so the percentage, the figures, everything is increasing over the years. Now, since we have seen these figures and these percentages, we can surely say one thing, that the relation between the center and the states have been on an increase, right? So, from this whole analysis of today's discussion, we can conclude 3 things. Number one to start with is we have this increasing integration between the center and the state. This is on a rise. Okay. Number 2 is helpless dependence of whom? The states on whom? The union, or you can write center. Helpless dependence. The more and more the states are getting dependent on the center. Number 3 says the growing power and interference of the center. Growing power and interference of the center in the affairs of the states. So what are these 3 things? These 3 things we can conclude from the scenario of the dependence or increment in the transfer of resources. So this shows that these 3 things are happening. Okay? Due to increment in transfer of resources, these are the things that we can conclude what is happening in the society, what is happening in the economy. Okay, so this is a brief introduction as well as discussing some of the important terms related to the state-center financial relationships. I hope you have understood, and stay tuned to Economicspedia because very soon the next 2 parts will be coming up, and in those two parts we will be solving some of the past year's questions as well. So stay tuned to Economicspedia, and I really hope that this session was pretty much helpful to you, and if it was, please show us by hitting the like button, and if you are new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any update from our page. Thank you for watching this, and if you have any kind of particular personal problem or doubts, please feel free to contact us through our official mail ID, that is ecopedia02@gmail.com. And if you want to have this topic's study material, please send us a mail. We will be assisting you with that. Thank you for watching this. I hope to see you in the next one.